Shoot him where it counts. Shoot him! Whoop him! Shoot! Hurry up, try to shoot that.
If you've ever been to the murky swamps of Louisiana, you know that the folks there are simply a different breed. Since 2010, Swamp People has introduced us to a very colorful cast of Cajuns. From eccentric old-timer Troy Landry to the resident heartthrob Pickle Wheat.
So that was kinda took me back for a second. That wasn't normal behavior for being out here in the Everglades.
But while Swamp People shows us the heroic victories and struggles of these strange folks, you might not know about the dark side of the cast.
They have gone too far.
Yup, it's true. Some of the most beloved cast members have simply gone too far.
I might not like the swamp as much as I like it.
And ended up behind bars for their crimes. Some went from hunting gators to hunting the most dangerous game, man. Others cooked up schemes that were stranger than turtle soup.
And if I tell you, there ain't gonna be no secret.
From horrific violence to scummy scams, you might not be able to look at these guys the same way, unless of course they're being framed. Before we begin, make sure to hit the thumbs up icon to show us some support. And hey, subscribe to the channel so you never miss any down-home content like this. Now let's get on to the dark side of the bayou and go find out. What happened? Paulmire and RJmire Jr. The world of gator hunting is a family affair, and the folks on Swamp People are no exception. While Troy and Chase Landry make up the most famous father-son duo on the show, the honorable mention goes to RJ and Paulmire. While RJ trapped and wrestled the gators, Paul would, in the words of Troy, shoot 'em. But their feisty ways have earned them the trophies, but they've also earned some handcuffs. But who exactly is telling the truth about the brutal beatdown that landed them in jail? Like many of the swamp creatures featured on the show, these guys aren't exactly known for using their words. Paul is a serious talent in the world of MMA fighting, and RJ is a tough arm wrestler to beat. No, seriously, the guy is a 4-time world champ to be specific.
The spotlight and just started, kicking ass.
But they allegedly decided to take their talents outside the ring one fateful night. You can say this about Jay and RJ, they don't just hang out for the camera. It's unclear whether they were drinking one fateful night in 2013, but hey, they were for sure hanging out and driving around. Next thing you know, a road rage incident got them heated, and they allegedly followed the 24-year-old they were in the dispute with to a mini-mart. There, the guy claimed they beat him senseless with a beer bottle. The pair was arrested and ended up getting charged with assault and battery charges. But not so fast. They both claimed they were completely innocent and were the victims of a mutual dispute. So who's really telling the truth? You'll have to be the judge. Roger A. Rivers. With a name like Roger Rivers, this cast member was born to be a swamp hunter.
I'm going back there to where that big gator lives. I know he's back there. It ain't no doubt in my mind he's there. I know it.
But according to the law, Roger has kept himself busy with some other activities, including ruthless scamming, not to mention drug offenses. But Roger has also been accused of some straight-up weird charges. Roger appeared on 4 episodes of the show back in season 5. But that was enough time for him to make his mark, attempting daring stunts, including killing an alligator by hand with a knife. Yep, that's how you get some screen time, Raj. But outside of his near-death stunts, Roger claimed to hunt to feed his family. But in 2017, he was charged with treating the swamp like his personal grocery store. You see, Roger was running a small business empire, illegally selling swamp meat, including fish, deer, turtle, and assorted reptiles. But that wasn't the end of his troubles. Just in 2022, Roger, who also runs a construction contracting company, allegedly accepted $6,000 for a job and never completed it. The claims were serious enough that he was charged, booked, and jailed on fraud, which is of course a very big deal, considering how shady most contractors are nowadays. Joe LaFont, aka Trapper Joe. Joe Lafont, better known as Trapper Joe, was a significant part of Swamp People in the first few seasons. He was a standout on 54 episodes, often alongside his stepson, Trigger Tommy.
I'll show you. What I say, I'll hold you to the word. I did. I caught the biggest gator. The loser's got to clean the fish. The loser got to clean the fish.
But Joe hasn't appeared on the show since 2016, so what happened? Well, Joe and his girlfriend were having a bitter argument in the lobby of a Florida hotel when things escalated. And Trapper Joe allegedly punched her and then burned her with a lit cigarette. The witnesses called the police and Joe was arrested, but his girlfriend refused to press charges, claiming it was all a misunderstanding. Not sure about that, but okay. Then, as if things weren't bad enough, things got worse. Joe was arrested in 2013 and 2015 for, can you guess it? Yeah, domestic violence charges. This time, he allegedly broke his girlfriend's ribs. I don't think that was a misunderstanding. Nicholas Payne. Payne wasn't on Swamp People for very long. He did a short stint on season 2 as Bruce Mitchell's apprentice. And there's a very good reason why Nicholas didn't last too long: his criminal behavior. In September of 2011, police responded to a typical noise complaint at Nicholas's house. But rather than just apologizing and turning down the tunes, Nicholas Payne took a bit riskier of an approach. He just attacked the cop and fled into the woods. Nice plan. But his fantasies of living as an outlaw out on the Delta were short-lived. Payne was promptly found, arrested, and charged. But why would Nicholas do such a thing? Well, it turns out this wasn't the first time he got belligerent with an officer. In 2010, he spent a year on probation for a similar offense. Nicholas is of course no longer on Swamp People, and his whereabouts are unclear, but it seems like he's avoided the clink in the ensuing years. But while Nicholas wasn't exactly a fixture on Swamp People, there is another cast member who was a huge part of the show, who ended up doing something even worse than fighting a cop. Chase Landry. If you've even seen one episode of Swamp People, you probably know Chase.
I'm very eager to jump at the challenge to take him down, to one-up him with a big gator.
He's one of the most knowledgeable gator hunters in the world, and Chase has helped bring his little corner of Louisiana to the world. But while Chase is a man of many talents, criminal activity has never publicly been one. That is, until Chase almost killed several people and almost took Swamp People off the air forever. It was 2017 when it was reported that Chase Landry had been taken into custody by the local authorities. The charge was opening fire on another boat. Landry was charged and set to go to trial. Why on earth would this legendary gator hunter go from shooting gators to hunting men? The story, you see, is a bit complicated. Here's Chase's version of the events. He was gator hunting like any other day when a shrimp boat went sailing towards them, but the craft was going far too fast and refused to slow down. Chase had no choice, he claimed at least, but to shoot at the boat. He said fortunately he missed the passengers, but not by much. He hit a plastic gas can just feet from the boaters' noggins. But that was just the start of Chase's trouble. When the day came for his trial, he was nowhere to be found. Local authorities put out a warrant for his arrest, and the chase was on. But here's where the story gets mysterious. Did the producers of Swamp People step in? Did Chase make a deal? We don't know, but the rest was swept under the rug pretty quickly. And to this day, Chase Landry is still at large, hunting gators on the swamp. If you see him, don't be afraid to say hello, just be ready to duck. Shows like Swamp People, of course, attract some interesting folks. Honestly, that's what makes the show so good. But there's a downside too. When you go fishing for a cast in the dark swamps of the Old South, you're bound to catch some unsavory characters, which will probably lead to more people watching the show. What do you think? Did all these stars really do what they've been accused of? Or are their scenarios murkier than they appear at first glance? Who is your favorite cast member from Swamp People? And if your answer is Pickle Wheat, we have an entire video about her. And if your answer is Troy Landry, we've got one too. Get in the comments and tell us all things Swamp People. Before you head back for an ice cold beer, please hit that thumbs up icon to show us some support. Subscribe to our channel and come back often so we can keep telling you
what happened?